Other questions right now at all? Yes?
How do you decide your prose for a book?
How do I decide, pardon me?
Your prose, or A, B, B, or A, B,
you know,
C, B, or...
I don't know any of these technical terms, I just do it. You know, I know in high school there were all these iambic thises and thatses, and I could never figure it out technically. Like, where's the accent? Where's the this? But I think I can do it. It's an intuitive thing. Sometimes the simplest ones are the most difficult. So AB, AB, that means in 4 lines, you have to have 2 rhyming couplets. Whereas you could do ABCB, which would be 1 rhyming couplet for 4 lines. It would be half as difficult. And see, here's the problem of writing rhyme poetry. There are very few words that rhyme, and that, even more so, very few words that rhyme and make sense. So one of the ways you can spot rhyme poetry that really isn't as good as it should be is the words feel strained. It's like they couldn't, you can sense they couldn't think of a word, so they threw the word in here and they convoluted their language to connect to it. But it lacks fluency. Great rhyme poetry, the words just seem natural and inevitable. And so when you're writing it, you're aiming for that sense of inevitability. What just happens to rhyme? It's amazing. How could all those words just happen to rhyme? It's intuitive. I like some of the long patterns that give you a lot of room. Like, you're the kind of kid who likes to wrestle squid or battle in the bathtub with a shark. In no uncertain terms, you love the squirms of worms, or hunting after werewolves in the dark. That would be AACBBC, which sounds kind of complicated, but actually it's simpler than ABAB. Maybe that's an incoherent answer, but perhaps useful a little bit.
No, it's great, thank you.
Other questions right now? Yes, please.
So when you send it into the publisher, you can do it online and you don't have to have an illustrator?
When you send it to the publisher, can you do it online and you don't have to have an illustrator? Let me answer that backwards. You do not need an illustrator. In fact, unless you're really good, like everyone says, I mean, you hear these stories, my sister's really good. You know, my mother's really good. Well, they might be. They might be stunning. But sometimes sort of what's really good for a family member isn't maybe really good in the professional marketplace. And that's just a harsh, a blunt reality that, as I see it. If you send it in without illustrations, they expect that. And if they like it, they will find an illustrator for you. As for going online, you know, I should be able to speak to that. I go online, but then again, I have editors I know, and their email address, and an agent I know, and my agent's email address. If you were just starting at it, I'm not certain you can do that. I think they want it by mail, but to tell you the truth, I'm not positive about that. But if you went to any guidebook, Children's Writers and Illustrators Market, kaboom, it would tell you like in the first 10 pages for sure. Yes?
So is your editor's contact information in one of those books?
Is my editor's, well, the editors I have, they would not have they're with a house that doesn't take unsolicited manuscripts. And my agent, it just has a full roster. But you know, all the agents, all the editors there, they're going to retire. New editors come along, new agents come along, new email addresses come along. There's a lot of places you can get started, and they need new authors, because all the authors who are around, they will succumb to the arc of mortality. And someone must take their place. Why not you? If this is your passion, if it's your passion, you'll probably have a tough time of it, probably. It's a steep hill to climb, probably. But someone is going to fill the slots that are left vacant. Why not you? Other questions at all right now? Yes, please.
I'm not sure how it works, like when you do different books, like, okay.
Go ahead.
Did your agent represent your novel as well, or did you have to go looking for another agent?
Did my agent represent my novel as well? Good question. Yes, she did. Yeah, she does things in what you might call the children's or young adult realm. Even sometimes adult novels as well, but so I just hand her all my stuff because I like her a lot. And it's pretty common in this business to become friends with editors and agents. There are lots of lovely people in the business. Interesting people. Yes?
You mentioned before going to conferences is a good way to find an agent.
Yes.
What's a good way to find out about conferences?
What's a good way to find out about conferences that you might go to where you could find an agent? I can speak to the realm of children's writing, which is what I know. The Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators, SCBWI. They just put it into Google. You'll get a zillion places to go for it, and it's inexpensive to join. And they have local conferences all over the place. They must have a bunch in Idaho. And then they have regional conferences, and they always bring in lots of editors and agents. And usually, you can arrange a meeting with an editor and show them your writing. People have sold stuff that way. It's not uncommon at all. So it's that personal relationship that often makes a difference, and you can get that at a conference. It's not the route that I went, perhaps because I was just so ignorant, but it's a good way to go. Other questions at all? I mean, just to speak to that a little bit more, every summer I run this writers' conference. A good number of people have gotten published just because they've met an editor or met an agent. They just made the connection, and here it is. The editor or agent, they're always looking for something. They say, you know, I like that. And next thing you know, they're published. All right, well, I think, yes, please go ahead.
What sort of authors have you looked to for inspiration?
What sort of authors have I looked to for inspiration? Well, you know, I don't read that much poetry or children's poetry. I've read a bunch of Jack Prelutsky and Shel Silverstein in there. And Dr. Seuss, I like Dr. Seuss. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Ooh, that's so smart. The simplest stuff is often the most difficult of all. I just read what I read. Right now, I was talking with some of the instructors here. I'm reading New Yorker Magazine's Book of Dogs. If you like dogs, and naturally you do, of course you do. If you like dogs, it's everything ever in the history of the magazine, from fiction to nonfiction to dog cartoons, is in the Book of Dogs. That inspires me. I mean, it's not as though it's poetry, but it just inspires me. It sounds silly, but life inspires me. Life is cool, life is joyous, life is wonderful. It kind of funnels into my writing. Other questions right now? Yes?
Sorry.
I forgot.
Do you have any advice on query letters and pitches?
Query letters or pitches? Well, probably if you're starting out, you're not going to be making a pitch per se. It's going to be a query letter. Keep it real short. Everything depends on the writing. You could write a brilliant query letter. They don't like your writing. They've got like stacks of stuff to go through in that business. Make it short, sweet. That's it. Professional. I mean, don't have any typos or misspellings. Misspelling is not good for you. Just short, sweet, and let the writing speak for itself. I don't think I'm seeing... Yeah, I see a few more heads popping up. Go ahead.
Do you have the option to veto an illustrator if you don't like illustrations for your
Do you have the option to veto an illustrator? Maybe yes, maybe no. I've never had the gumption to do it. Usually I just go, oh, they're going to hire an artist for me? So I've never thought to do that. I know, really super duper famous authors, they do it regularly, but I don't know. I'm just not wired that way. Did I see a hand over here, perhaps? Yeah.
Do you work on more than one stories at a time? I know this is like a very personal question.
Nah, do I work on more than one at a time? Usually I do. So when I was working on my novel, I was working on a poem at the same time. And that's what I do. Yeah. Right now, I just finished this big project, so I'm not working on anything, but I'll probably get started very shortly, yeah?
How do you find like the motivation to drill through and push out some, I don't know, like a the novel that you've written?
How do I find the motivation when it's difficult?
Yeah.
I am resolute. I am resolute. I am going to get it done. It may seem trite to you or something you've heard like in some TV infomercial. I am resolute. I am passionate. I don't give up when it seems impossible. I am going to succeed, and whatever success I've had, attitude is very much the basis of it. I can't judge my talent, but I think I got a lot of attitude. Yeah?
I've kind of read a lot about it. Would you say overcoming writer's block is really just about dedication and practice?
Overcoming writer's block, 2 ways to do it for me. It's like you're a runner and you have a cramp. You run through it, though it hurts horribly. Or you just stop and walk. And you start running again like in an hour the next day. That's just how my approach. All right, thank you very much, everybody. Good night. If you want to come up and chat personally, feel free to do so.